Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the JMM Expert Insight Series. Today, I am joined by Miltos Xynogalas, CEO of Conrad Asia Energy. Good morning, Miltos.
Good morning, Jane.
So, Miltos, Conrad's just announced the signing of a significant gas sales agreement with PLN. So, analysts and investors are calling this a major milestone. Can you just explain why this agreement is such a game changer for the company?
Yeah, Jane, this is a very important contract for us. And first of all, I would like to clarify that our buyer is one of the subsidiaries of PLN, which is one of the largest state-owned enterprises in Indonesia. The name of the subsidiary is PLN EPI, or as the Indonesians call it, PLN EPI, which its main business is just to purchase fuel for the power plants. And recently, it has been involved more and more with the gas business. And as I was informed by our customers during our signing yesterday, this is the largest contract they ever signed. So it is really something very important for both parties, not just for us. This is a significant milestone. It will help us move the project forward. Of course, the fact that we are working together with an Indonesian counterparty makes it much easier. Domestic resources, domestic buyer, that is really very important. And of course, it will help us move the project forward. And with regards to FID and bring the company closer to the revenues, which of course is a very important target for us.
And Miltos, in today's announcement, it was slightly vague, but how exactly does the pricing structure work and what benefit is it to Conrad and shareholders?
Yeah, the pricing, as we announced it, is very similar to what LNG contracts are. It is linked to the oil price. In this instance, it is linked to ICP, to the Indonesian crude price, which is very similar to Brent. And it is a standard for LNG contracts. It is priced at a premium. And this is, again, a first, if you want, or for PLN EPI. It is a first to buy gas at these prices. And it keeps us in very similar, if not better, terms than what we had earlier. And you may recall we had a contract with a Singaporean buyer, which in combination to the Singaporean buyer and the domestic that we had at the time, this contract, which is brand new and having 100% selling to the domestic market, provides us terms which are equivalent to what we had before. And in a sense, even better. So now we know that our project is very much economically viable and very, very good for our shareholders as well.
Okay, well, just further to that then. So what does this agreement actually mean in terms of the financial risk and upside potential of the Mako project?
Look, this agreement, I wanted to put it really into the right perspective here. The contract value is roughly, and of course depends on the oil price to a large extent, but roughly speaking is about $3 billion gross revenues for all the parties involved. So this is significant. This is a big, it is a big amount. And of course, you know that gas projects, they have one peculiarity. You first find the gas, appraise it, you have your plan of developments and everything else, and then you need to sell the gas. And without the gas sales agreement, there is no project. So now that this specific gas sales agreement has been signed and in these advantageous terms, we know that we have a project which is economically viable, and it is, the project is really de-risked. And the next steps are to take FID, as I said.
And Miltos, let's just move to Indonesia now. So how does this agreement reflect the evolving energy landscape in Indonesia, particularly concerning the transition to cleaner fuels?
Yeah. Indonesia is moving towards cleaner fuels. There is no doubt. So it is a combination of transitioning to cleaner energy and also to energy security, and both of these go hand in hand. In an ideal world, cleaner fuel is renewable. The Indonesian government clearly realizes that renewables by themselves cannot achieve energy security. There is a huge increase in demand in power for the household, for the industry, for the data centers, for all these good things that are happening in the country. And that cannot be achieved just with renewables. Therefore, the gas is very important part of it, and the government recognizes that. And the fact that you're giving us these prices, which are really attractive, they're commercially reasonable for all parties, but they are attractive for us. It demonstrates very clearly that the government not only realizes that energy security is important, but the energy security starts from the activities on the upstream sector. The upstream sector is our sector, is the exploration, is the appraisal, is the development. And for that to happen, we need to have reasonable and good prices for the fuel, for the gas. And that's why they're giving us these prices, which will encourage us further to do our exploration and appraisal activities within Mako or within other parts, within the other projects that we have in the country, and of course, look even further and grow the company accordingly.
Well, actually, just on that as well, we've had quite a few inbound calls just on how Mako is fitting into the broader strategic growth ambitions for Conrad. So perhaps can you just elaborate on the long-term growth strategy and how this agreement's going to support it?
Look, Mako has always been our flagship project. It has been left and right in our announcements. It has been a big part of our strategy. But we need always to remind to our investors and to the broader market that it is one of the projects we have. As we have said repeatedly, we have another 3 projects in Aceh. And therefore, this one is just the beginning of a longer journey and growing the company in Indonesia with projects which are of not very dissimilar value to what we have in Mako. Therefore, this is a first step for us to move the company forward, go towards revenues in the next 2 to 3 years. And of course, at the same time, mature the other projects we have in Aceh. And we will be talking about that, I hope, later on during this interview.
Okay. Well, actually, so with this such strong interest in the agreement, can you tell us what comes next for the Mako Gas Field in terms of that operational and sort of corporate milestones?
Yeah, look, I mentioned in a couple of occasions earlier during this interview about FID. FID is the next milestone for us. And of course, the FID comes together hand in hand with the farm out or the farm down of our participating interest we have in the asset. We have a very large participating interest, and we have recognized for a long time, and we have told the markets that a farm-in is essential, is very important. And what we are looking to achieve is through this farm down to the new partner to bring with them the funding of the project. So the two things will happen together, and these are the next milestones, which we hope to achieve in short order, so that we can have more news for the market. And it's not just the news for the market, it's for us to move the project forward and achieve the main objective, as I said, the early revenues. So this is what is coming next.
Miltos, I'm moving on a little bit here, but we've had a few inbounds again just about portfolio management. So what is the company, what's the company? Is it looking to divest more interest? Is it bringing in more strategic partners? Are we comfortable with the holdings? I mean, perhaps if you can comment on that.
Look, the holding is very low. And we have a very large holding in every single asset we have. And it is not just in Mako Field, it's in the other assets we have. We have nearly 100% in Mako, and we have 100% in our other assets. And of course, we cannot develop our assets like that with this such a huge participating interest and with such a huge investment. Therefore, it is essential for us to sell down. It is possible that eventually we will end up with a minority interest on the asset, but we will retain operators. That's essential for us because that's how you build an upstream company, and a valid upstream company that is doing business that they have a lot of potential is to retain the operatorship. So we will do that. And subsequently, what we will do, of course, as I said, that will help us as well with not only reducing our interest, but also funding our project and reducing our exposure to raising $350 billion, which we cannot do. So the strategy with the farm out will be to ensure that we have an upfront payment that will help us with our covering our overheads for some time. We will ensure that the project is fully funded from the incoming party. And the idea is to recover back costs, all this money that we have spent over the years through the production. And it will be a deal which will be really very attractive, will reduce our outflows in this project, effectively will make it nearly zero. And we will give us the opportunity to develop the asset and start generating revenues.
And Miltos, so investors are always looking for sort of clarity on risk management. What would you say are the biggest remaining risks for Conrad at this stage, and how is the company managing them?
Look, obviously, the greatest risk we have at the moment is to ensure that we find a farminee. So, because, as I said, that will help us achieve all our objectives. How we manage the farm down is by having continuous engagement with a number of parties. We are Indonesian parties. We are bringing in quality parties that will help us with the funding. It will help us to address any issues that we may have domestic in Indonesia. There are parties that will help us with our buyer, with PLN EPI. And that is the best way for us to reduce our risk. So it is continuous farm downs, and for that matter, not only in Mako, but farm downs also in our other asset in Aceh. And that's where the focus is at the moment. And I think that's the best risk management we can do.
I'm jumping around a bit here, but could you remind us of the potential of Aceh?
Yeah. Obviously, Aceh is something we have announced in many different occasions. We have said, and we keep saying, that there is the potential of having exploration prospects, exploratory prospects up to 15 TCF. And that's a very big number. That is a very valid number. We have features, geological features that they are really world-class. We see these leads getting, with the additional work we are doing, getting more and more validated. So that's a huge potential we have there. But in addition to that, Aceh has existing discoveries. We have 4 discoveries. 3 out of them, we are maturing them all the time. We believe that they're commercially viable. We are talking again with PLN EPI. We are creating a very good relationship with them, and they are showing a tremendous interest to offtake the gas from these discoveries. And that will bring these other projects into maturity, and will help us continue with our growing the company.
Thank you, Miltos. You kind of touched on it there, but what's next for Conrad? So what should investors be looking out for? Or even maybe what would you like to leave with analysts and our investors?
Well, the next thing that they need to wait from us is to make announcements about the farm out, Mako, and also to make a lot of announcements about ATSE, bringing in partners there, starting with our operations. We have to shoot some seismic, we have to do work. We haven't announced anything yet, but as these activities will be progressing, we will inform the market accordingly. And we really want all of these announcements and all these news flows to be happening much faster than what has happened in the past to reduce the delays as much as possible.
Wonderful. Well, exciting times ahead, Miltos. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you.